Hey everybody, this is Mr. Hartzler, and I'm creating a video showing you how to do 5.2.A and geometric constraints. So if you're one of my students, you'll be able to have this file. I'll put it on Google Classroom and you'll download it. And from there, you're going to have to use a bunch of little constraints to follow what each one of these 12 things tells you to do. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so we can see the first thing is to make these two lines perpendicular. I do that by first going in and editing my sketch. So in the browser, I double click sketch 1. From there, I go to the constraints section of my ribbon up top, and I click on the one that says make perpendicular. That's this little one here that actually looks like it's a perpendicular symbol. Click on that and then click on both the lines and they'll snap to make them perpendicular. You'll notice the little symbol in the bottom corner saying that yes, it in fact worked. The next one is making all three lines parallel to one another, and that's a different tool up top. If I want to get rid of doing the old tool, I can press escape. I can also just click the new tool I want to use. So I've now clicked parallel, and I can click these two lines to make those two parallel, and then click the last one and one of the originals, and they'll all snap to being parallel. Moving over to the next one. This one is just a little bit more complicated. There's a little bit more going on. First thing I need to do is dimension number 3, circle 3, to a diameter of 2 inches. So I click dimension, click my edge of the circle, and come out. That needs to be a number 2. And once I've done that, I fix circles 1 and 2. That's the little padlock in the top corner of the constraint box. I need to fix both of those circles, so I do that. And then I need to make number 3 tangent to number 1 and 2. Tangent means it only touches at one place. Up here in my little box, I click the circle with a little line on it. That's my tangent option. And then I click the two circles. You'll notice it moved at number 3 around to number 2 because number 2 is stuck where it is. And I'm going to do the same thing for number 1. Number 2, it made it tangent to the inside, and number 1 is tangent to the outside. If you're building a part in the future and that's not what you want, I suggest you maybe move them a little bit further apart so that it'll snap to its outer edge instead of the inner edge like it did here. The next one is to make the circle tangent to both lines. So I'm still doing my tangent option. Click on my circle, click on the line, and then I do the same thing over here. And you'll notice it just changes the size of my circle because I haven't locked that down at all. I can always get rid of these two if I did one by accident. I first have to press escape, right click, and I can show all constraints, and then I can delete a constraint that I might want to be deleted. Press escape because I don't want to do any of that. Zoom back out and slide over to number 5. This is another one that kind of can be a little bit complicated for some people. I want to fix point C. That's the little padlock up top. And don't click on the little dot that's to the right, or sorry, just to the left of C. Click the center of the circle. That C and the little dot are really just trying to talk about this center. And then we're going to do what it asks to do next. Make endpoints A and B coincident with point C. That's this little box right up top. And I can click on the ends of both my lines and the center of my circle. Now it doesn't show up on here, but if you hover over any of those tools in the constraints, it will pop up with a small window showing you what the name of that tool is, the definition of it, and a little picture showing you what it does when you use it. So that's always a nice feature to use. Coming over to making circles concentric. There we go. It's a hard word sometimes. Click on the little circle within a circle up top, and then start clicking on your circles. And this kind of nests them together. That can be helpful if you're trying to maybe make a lid of something and they're all being extruded at different heights. Then I'm making lines collinear. Linear meaning line and co meaning the same, so it turns them into the same line. That's another one of my tools up top. It's this one that's now highlighted in blue. Click on both lines and it turns them into one. Horizontal is another one that's pretty helpful, and that is this line right here. I have a horizontal constraint, and just to the right of it I have a vertical constraint. And I click on both of those and it'll snap them to be horizontal. Pan back over to vertical lines, and that is just to the right of the last one we did. and then I can click on all of my lines. Next, I need to make my triangle an equilateral. An equilateral triangle means that all of the sides are the same. So I'm going to come up here and hit equal. Actually looks like a little equal sign, and I'm going to start clicking on all of my sides. Those two are now equal. I can see that because the little symbol showed up next to them. And I'm going to do that with my last side as well. I clicked on that one, and I have to still click on one of the originals. And it snapped all of them into an equilateral triangle. Next one is I need to make the circles the same size. I'm still going to stick to equal, and I'm just going to click on my two circles. The nice thing about this, it doesn't ask you to do it, but if I try and dimension one of them, let's change it up to 2, it will change both of them because that's what I told it to do, to always be the same. And the last one here, line up the centers of the circle on the same horizontal plane. So I want to click my horizontal constraint and click the centers of all of my circles. Depending on the order you click these, they'll either move up or move down, but as long as they're all in a line, I'm fine with that. So now I have a nice completed page. If you're one of my students, you'll take a screenshot of this. You do that by clipping this or using the snipping tool, and you'll get a little window that pops up like this. I don't know if that's going to show up for you, but then you highlight your screen and this window pops up, and you will save that to your Z drive in a place where you can find it. Name it something good like 5.2 geometric constraints snip or picture. That way you can find it and you can upload that to Classroom. I hope this was helpful for you. If you like this video or got something useful out of it, please click the like button below and subscribe to the channel if you're interested in seeing more videos like this. If you want to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, Instagram is Mr. Hartzler, Twitter is Mr. Hartzler Math, and I hope you all had a good time learning about using geometric constraints. Have a great rest of your day.